"You're the worst wife ever," my husband said. His friends lined up beside him like a panel. "We're here to teach you a lesson." I let them talk for what felt like hours before responding. "I'll keep all of this in mind for my next relationship." That was the moment he understood the lesson wasn't for me, it was for him. 5 of them sat in my living room as if holding a formal hearing. Marcus, my husband of 7 years, sat in the center of our sectional. To his left was Derek, his old college roommate who never truly grew up. On his right sat Tyler, the divorce attorney who somehow stayed friends with all of his clients' ex-wives. At the ends were Josh and Cameron, Marcus's work friends who treated every get-together like a continuation of their fraternity days. I stood in the kitchen doorway with grocery bags still in my hands. The 40-minute drive home through rush-hour traffic had drained me. My back hurt from standing at the pharmacy counter for 3 hours. And I'd been looking forward to heating leftover pasta and watching something easy on TV. Instead, I walked into an intervention. "Sit down, Elena," Marcus said. His tone had shifted lately. It felt like I was being called into HR. I put the bags on the counter. The milk would be fine for a few minutes. "What's going on?" "That's exactly the issue," Derek said, leaning forward. "You don't even realize what you're doing wrong." A small laugh slipped out before I could stop it. "Sorry, are we really doing this now?" "See?" Tyler gestured at me like he'd made his point. Defensive, dismissive, classic avoidance. Cameron nodded seriously, as though Tyler had shared some deep psychological insight rather than something he picked up from a podcast. Josh stayed quiet, but his expression said enough. Marcus stood. "We've all noticed how you've been acting. They're here because they care about us, about our marriage." "Very thoughtful," I said, moving the ice cream to the freezer. "Should I order pizza too? Make this a real event?" "There it is," Derek said. "The sarcasm. You don't take anything seriously." I shut the freezer with more force than intended. "Okay, I'm listening. What exactly have I done?" Tyler pulled out his phone. "Should we go in order or by category?" "He made a list," Josh said. "That's how serious this is." It should have made me angry. Instead, something inside me shifted, like a cable snapping. I pulled out a chair and sat across from them. "Go ahead," I said. "Let's hear it." Tyler cleared his throat. "First, emotional distance. Marcus says you hardly talk to him anymore." I looked at my husband, who stared back with something between guilt and determination. "When was the last time you asked about my day?" Marcus added. "Really asked, not just said the words while scrolling your phone." I could have answered. Yesterday, while he watched basketball, I'd tried to tell him about Mrs. Patterson, how her insurance denied her heart medication and she cried at the counter. He'd replied, "Uh-huh," 3 times before asking if I'd seen what LeBron did. But I didn't bring any of that up. "Okay," I said. "What else?" Tyler checked his phone again. "You've stopped trying with your appearance. Marcus says you wear sweatpants most evenings." "After work," I clarified. "I wear them after work." "That's not the point," Derek said. "Marriage takes effort. You can't just coast." Cameron added, "My wife always looks put together, even on weekends. She says it's self-respect." "Inspiring," I said flatly. "Continue." Tyler scolded. "You've been overspending without discussing it." Marcus showed us the credit card bills. "What purchases?" I asked. Marcus shifted. "The grocery costs are getting out of control. $200 last week alone." "We eat food," I said slowly. "Food costs money." "Not that much," Tyler said. "My girlfriend feeds us both on about $100 a week, organic." "Your girlfriend is 23 and eats salad for dinner," I said. "But sure, let's compare." See? Derek pointed. Hostile. Everything turns into an argument. Josh nodded. Cam then nodded. Marcus stared at his hands. Tyler continued. You've missed the last 3 social events where partners were invited. I worked late those nights. You work late every night, Marcus said. You could have asked for time off. I thought about explaining retail pharmacy scheduling, how understaffed we were, how asking for a night off meant someone else covering a double, how I'd already used my remaining leave for his brother's wedding. Instead, I said, you're right. I could have tried harder. What else? They kept going. I'd forgotten his mother's birthday, though I had remembered. The card wasn't personal enough. I'd stopped cooking big meals, though he'd complained about them for years until suddenly missing them. I'd become boring, predictable, passionless. You never want to do anything, Marcus said. When was the last time we had fun? 3 months ago, I'd suggested hiking. He was too tired. 6 months ago, I'd bought concert tickets. He forgot and made plans at Derek's. A year ago, I planned a weekend trip. He spent most of it answering work emails. It has been a while, I said. At least you're acknowledging it, Derek said. Marcus stood again. We love you, Elena. I love you. You're just not the woman I married. She was fun, Cameron said. She made Marcus happy, Josh added. Tyler put his phone away. We've all talked. You need to make changes. Starting tonight. Starting tonight, I repeated. Show Marcus you're committed, Derek said. 5 men in my home. On my furniture, listing every way they believed I had failed. I walked to the sink, poured a glass of water, drank it. Outside, the neighbors stood together in their garden. He put an arm around her shoulders. I turned back to them. Thank you for coming, I said. This has been very enlightening. Marcus smiled in relief. I knew you'd understand. You just needed some honest talk, he added. Absolutely, I said. I'll keep all of this in mind for my next relationship. Silence dropped across the room. My next relationship, I repeated. This has given me a lot to think about. Marcus's face twisted through confusion, panic, disbelief. Elena, you can't just... Can't I? I stepped forward. 5 of you spent an hour telling me what I'm doing wrong. Not one of you asked why. We're trying to help, Tyler said, but without confidence. Why don't I talk to Marcus about my day? I continued. Because 6 months ago, I tried to tell him about a patient who attempted suicide. After we couldn't fill her medication, he fell asleep mid-sentence, snored while I cried. Point. Nothing came out. Why do I wear sweatpants every evening? Because I stand for 8-hour shifts on concrete, and by the time I get home, my feet are so swollen I can barely walk. Cameron stopped nodding. The grocery bill, I said. Marcus, do you know what I buy? Your protein shakes, your coffee, your snacks, the expensive cheese you like, the steaks you want twice a week. Half the time I eat cereal because I'm too tired to cook. Elena, he began. And those social events? Last month, I worked a double, 15 hours. I came home to you and Derek drunk, the kitchen a mess, and a $70 pizza bill. When I asked you to clean up, you said I was being uptight. Josh stared at the floor. But the best part, I said, is the claim that I'm emotionally unavailable. The room stilled. 3 weeks ago, I found out my dad's cancer is back. Terminal. Do you remember what you said? Marcus went pale. You said, that sucks, and then asked if I picked up your anti. No one spoke. So thank you, I said. Thank you for making this so clear. This isn't what I meant, Marcus said, voice shaking. You were trying to fix me, I said, but I'm not broken. I'm done. Tyler stood. Maybe we should leave. Great idea, I said. Derek, Cameron, take care. They rushed out. Derek muttered something like an apology. Cameron avoided my eyes. Josh hesitated, then left. Tyler lingered. For what it's worth, I think you're making a mistake. I'll put that below your girlfriend's grocery tips, I said. When the door shut, it was just Marcus and me. Elena, he said, stepping forward. I wasn't thinking. No, I said, you weren't. We can fix this. I'll do better. I looked at him, really looked, and realized there had never been one moment when I fell out of love. Just slow erosion. I'm staying with my sister, I said. I'll get my things this weekend. You don't have to do that. Let's talk. Really talk. We just did, I said. You talked. I listened. Now I'm done. I grabbed my purse and keys. The groceries could stay. I love you, he called out. I paused at the door. You don't even know what that means. My sister Rachel lived 40 minutes away. When she saw me at her door without warning, she pulled me inside. Wine or ice cream, she asked. Both. We sat on her porch while I told her everything. She listened. No interruptions. That's why she was my favorite person. When I finished, she said, an intervention with witnesses? That's a new level of clueless. I think Tyler planned it, I said. Probably saw it online. Tyler, the divorce attorney? She said. The irony. She refilled my glass. So, leaving him? I can't come back from this. Obviously. I meant logistics. The house, joint account, separate savings, furniture, all the shared pieces of a life. I'll sort it out, I said. Tomorrow. Tonight, I just wanted to breathe. Rachel lifted her glass. To terrible husbands and the women who finally wake up. We clinked glasses. The wine was cheap, the ice cream melting, and I felt lighter than I had in months. My phone buzzed. Marcus. I declined it. He called again. Declined. A third time, I turned it off. Better? Rachel asked. Getting there. I slept in her guest room. The bed was lumpy and the room too warm. And still, I slept better than I had in years. Update 1. I didn't expect this post to gain so much attention. Your comments, support, and shared stories have meant a lot. Many asked for an update, so here's what happened next. The morning after, I woke to 47 missed calls and 32 texts. Marcus alternated between apologies, anger, and desperation. Derek sent 3 messages, acting like Marcus's messenger. One text was from my mother-in-law. I deleted it without reading. Rachel made breakfast while I scrolled. He's spiraling. Shh, he can spiral alone. What about work? You're supposed to go in, right? I called in sick. I couldn't stand behind the pharmacy counter pretending everything was normal. Instead, I finally did something I had put off for months. I contacted a lawyer. Sarah Chen came highly recommended. Her office was modern, professional, and calm. She offered me sparkling water in a real glass. Tell me what happened, she said. I told her everything. She took notes, asked questions, stayed neutral even during the intervention part. How long married? She asked. 7 years. Kids? No. Joint assets. House. Shared checking with about $8,000. My separate savings, $40,000. His separate too, I don't know the amount. Income? I make $68,000. He makes around $85,000. Debt? Mortgage. Car loans. His student loans? $30,000 left. Mine are paid off. You paid yours off but not his? She asked. He said income-based repayment was smarter so he could invest. Did? Period. I thought about the console, the golf clubs, the $3,000 crypto loss. Not really. She made notes. Good news. No kid simplifies things. Depending on the house equity, someone may owe the other, but you're in a fairly stable position. I don't care about the money, I said. I just want out. Everyone says that at first, she replied gently. But you should care. You've been supporting his lifestyle. Your loans paid, his not. Your overtime, his hobbies. That matters. Hearing it laid out so simply made everything clear. I had been a convenience, a paycheck, a caretaker, and a target for every frustration. What do I do first? I asked. First, she said, don't move out. You're at your sister's, but legally this must be temporary. Going back home protects your claim to assets. You don't have to reconcile. Just be strategic. Second, let him talk if he wants. You don't need to engage. Use the gray rock method. I don't know it, I said. Be boring, said. Unemotional reactions. It's a strategy for dealing with manipulative behavior. Is that what he is? Manipulative. Sarah gave me a look filled with sympathy and something sharper. He organized an intervention with 4 friends to point out everything wrong with you while offering zero self-awareness. You tell me. Fair point. We spent another hour reviewing logistics. Sarah would draft a separation agreement. I needed to document everything. Dates, conversations, financial contributions. Start separating our joint accounts slowly. And most importantly, I needed to return to the house. Don't give him anything he can use, she said as I left. And Elena, change your passwords. All of them. I drove back to Rachel's place and sat in her driveway for 20 minutes, staring at my phone. Finally, I powered it on. The messages had multiplied. Marcus had shifted from apologizing to reflecting to vaguely threatening. You can't just throw away 7 years. I replied, coming tomorrow at 3 p.m. to get some things. Please don't be there. His response was instant. We need to talk. Not yet. This is ridiculous. You're my wife. I almost laughed. See you at 3. I blocked Derek's number, then Tyler's, then every contact who had been part of that intervention. Marcus could keep his friends. I wanted no part of them. Rachel ordered Thai food, and we ate while watching a documentary about con artists. It felt oddly fitting. You seem calmer, she said during a break. I have a plan now. That helps. And tomorrow, when you go back, I'll grab clothes, my laptop, documents. In and out in 30 minutes. Want me to come with you? I considered it. Yeah, actually, yes, that would help. She squeezed my hand. We'll bring boxes. Keep it efficient. That night, lying in the uneven guest bed, I thought about the house. Marcus and I had bought it 5 years ago, believing we were building a life together. We painted the bedroom a soft gray, arguing gently about undertones. We planted flowers in the yard. Most died. A few roses survived. We hosted 3 dinner parties before realizing we preferred eating out. The house never felt like home. I'd spent too many nights alone there, eating cereal at the sink while Marcus went out, worked late, or simply didn't come home until I was asleep. I'd spent too many weekends cleaning while he golfed, gamed while he golfed, or wandered through unfinished projects. I wouldn't miss it. I realized the house was just a building, an expensive one I helped pay for, but never truly lived in. My phone buzzed. I checked it, even though I shouldn't have. Marcus, I'm sorry, really sorry. I know I messed up. Can we talk like adults? I stared at it. Like adults, as if I had been the childish one, as if staging an intervention with friends wasn't the most juvenile move possible. I typed, I hired a lawyer. You should probably do the same. His reply came slower. Are you serious? Over one fight? One mistake? It wasn't one mistake. It was a pattern. And I'm done with patterns. So that's it? 7 years and you just give up? I almost said he had given up long before. Given up seeing me, caring, treating me like a partner instead of a problem. But why bother? Yes, I typed. That's it. I turned off my phone and went to sleep. The next afternoon, Rachel and I drove to the house. I told Marcus not to be there, but his car was in the driveway. Want me to tell him to leave? Rachel asked. No, let's just do this. He opened the door looking rough, unshaven, wrinkled clothes, tired eyes. Part of me wanted to feel sympathy, but it was smaller than I expected. Elena, he said, thank God. Listen, I've been thinking. I'm just here for my things. Please, don't make this harder. But we should talk, really talk. Not like yesterday. I was wrong to bring them there. Rachel walked past him with an empty box. Excuse me. I followed her inside. The house looked the same, yet somehow smaller, older, less meaningful. Marcus trailed behind us. You hired a lawyer? Really? That's extreme. Filing for divorce isn't extreme when the marriage is over, I said, opening the closet. The marriage isn't over. You're upset, and I get that, but we can fix this. I kept folding clothes. Rachel organized the drawers. Marcus, I said, still not looking at him. You told me I was the worst wife, in front of your friends, in a planned meeting. There's no fixing that. I didn't say that. Derek said that. I thought you needed to hear it. You were there. You agreed. You listed my flaws like evidence. A thought hit me. Were you planning to divorce me? He looked shocked. What? No. Then what was the goal? If I had agreed, apologized, promised to change, what then? We go back to how things were. We were never happy, I said quietly. I just figured it out later than you. Rachel came from the bathroom with my toiletries. Got everything? What about the office? Good idea. We moved to the spare room that had become my workspace after Marcus complained about the kitchen table. My laptop, files, textbooks, all went into boxes. Marcus stood in the doorway. This is really happening. Yes. What about the house, our things? My lawyer will contact yours. We'll sort it out. I don't have a lawyer. Then get one. We made 3 trips to Rachel's car. Marcus didn't help. He watched as 7 years disappeared into cardboard and tape. On the last trip, he grabbed my arm. Elena, please, can we try counseling? One real attempt? I looked at his hand. He let go immediately. The time for counseling was before the intervention, I said. Before you decided my flaws needed an audience, we're past trying. I love you. You love having someone to blame. That's not the same. Rachel started the car. I got in without looking back. As we drove off, I saw Marcus standing in the driveway and felt nothing. No anger, no grief, just relief. You okay? Rachel asked. Better than okay, I said. I'm free. We spent the evening unpacking in the guest room. She'd cleared closet space, moved her craft supplies aside. It felt both temporary and stable. A pause between my old life and whatever was next. My phone rang. My mother. Oh boy, Rachel muttered. How much has Marcus told her? Only one way to know, I answered. Hi, Mom. Elena Marie, what is happening? Linda called me in tears. She says you left Marcus and hired a divorce lawyer. Linda, my mother-in-law. I didn't abandon anyone. I left after Marcus and his friends held an intervention to tell me what a terrible wife I am. An intervention? Surely you're exaggerating. 5 of them sat in the living room listing my failures. Then I left. That's everything. Well, marriages have rough spots. You can't run away every time there's a disagreement. It wasn't a disagreement, Mom. It was an ambush. Linda says you're being dramatic. She raised Marcus well, and if there are issues, you must work on them together. Did she tell you about the intervention? She mentioned that Marcus wanted to have an honest conversation with 4 witnesses who delivered a list of your flaws. Silence. Well, that does sound excessive. Thank you. But still, divorce is permanent. What about counseling? At least try. We're past that. Think of your father. This stress isn't good for him. There it was, the guilt card. My father's cancer, somehow my responsibility. Dad will understand, I said quietly. He always has. I have to go, Mom. We'll talk later. I hung up before she could continue. Rachel handed me a glass of wine. Family, I said. Can't live with them. Can't block all of them. My phone buzzed again. A text from Dad. Your mother's worried. Call when you can. Love you. I called immediately. He answered on the first ring. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Dad. Mom talk to you? She did. Gave me the dramatic version. Want to tell me the real one? I told him everything. He listened the way he always did. Quiet, steady, without judgment. That intervention, that's something, he finally said. Yeah. You doing okay? Honestly, yes. I can finally breathe. Then you did the right thing. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Thanks, Dad. Elena, you know what being sick has taught me? What? Life's too short to stay with someone who makes you feel small. I swallowed. Love you, Dad. Love you too. Now go drink wine with your sister. She's a bad influence, but she's right. Rachel grinned. She had clearly heard every word. Your dad's my favorite person. Mine too. We clinked glasses. My phone buzzed again. Marcus calling, texting, leaving voicemails I didn't open. After the 10th interruption, I put it on Do Not Disturb. Peace at last, Rachel said. For now. What's next? My lawyer's drafting separation papers. Once the house and finances are sorted, we'll file. It might take a few months. And until then, you stay here? If you'll have me. I'll pay rent, help with groceries and utilities. You don't need to. I want to. I need to contribute, not just hide. She considered it. Okay, but I'm charging you well below market. Divorce discount. We shook on it. Another piece of the plan fell into place. I had a lawyer, a place to stay, a plan. I thought the rest would be simple. I was wrong. Update 2. Many of you warned me Marcus wouldn't accept this easily. You were right. What happened next showed me how little I truly knew him, or how much I had ignored. 4 days after I moved out, Sarah called with news. Marcus hired Tyler, she said. Tyler Ross, the attorney from the intervention? Technically, yes. But Elena, his reputation matters here. He's aggressive, very aggressive. He specializes in messy divorces. We don't have kids. We've only been married 7 years. How messy can it be? Sarah didn't answer right away. Let's just say Marcus got advice on how to handle this. Tyler already sent a proposal. It came yesterday. He works fast, I said. Sit down, she said. You're going to want to. I sat on Rachel's couch. He's claiming the house as a premarital asset. What? We bought it together. Both names are on the deed. He argues his parents gave him $50,000 as a gift meant only for him, making the house mostly his investment. I tried to remember. Both sets of parents contributed. Mine gave $30,000. My parents gave money too. Can you prove it was specifically for the house? There should be bank records. 5 years old, but they should exist. Get everything, because Tyler's next move is worse. How? He's requesting alimony. I actually laughed. He earns more than I do. He claims his career suffered because you didn't support him, that he limited his growth because of your schedule and emotions. The laughter died. That's absurd. Tyler throws everything he can, then uses it to negotiate. What do? Stay calm. None of this will stand, but we need details. His income, spending, habits, gaming consoles, golf clubs, receipts, transactions. Build me a timeline of financial choices. Okay? And Elena, prepare yourself. This could get ugly. She wasn't wrong. 2 days later, I got a formal letter demanding I vacate the house and surrender my keys. It claimed I abandoned the marital home and had no right to return. I called Sarah. Can he do that? No. Don't reply. Don't give the keys. In fact, go back today and stay the night. Prove you didn't abandon anything. Marcus will be there. Good. Be polite, but distant. Don't argue. Document E. If he gets hostile, record it. Your state allows one-party consent. Rachel came with me. We arrived at 6 p.m. Marcus's car was already there. He opened the door, looking different, colder, more deliberate. You can't be here, he said. I can. It's my house, too. My lawyer says you abandoned it. Your lawyer is wrong. I'm staying tonight. The hell you are. Rachel stepped in. Marcus, don't make this harder. Elena is allowed to be here. He ignored her, staring at me. You've been turning people against me. My mother won't even talk to me because of the lies you told. I haven't spoken to your mother. Liar. She called crying, saying I staged an intervention like some monster. How would she know if not from you? From you, I said, or your friends. His jaw tightened. You're making me look bad. You're making yourself look bad. We stared at each other, and I saw something new, or something I had refused to see. A sharp edge, a vindictiveness. Okay, maybe Tyler's influence, maybe his real personality. I want you out, he said quietly. Out of this house, out of my life. You want a divorce? Fine, but you're not getting anything. I'm not trying to take anything. I just want what's fair. Fair? He laughed without humor. You think any of this is fair? I tried to help you, tried to fix our marriage, and you turned it into a weapon. You ambushed me with your friends and listed my faults. That wasn't help. That was cruel. That was honesty, he said. Something you can't handle. Rachel touched my arm. Let's go inside, not out here. Marcus blocked the door. She's not coming in. Move, I said. Make me. I took out my phone and hit record. Marcus, I'm asking you to step aside so I can enter my home. Stopping me is illegal. He looked at the phone, then at me, then at Rachel. His expression shifted as he stepped aside. Your lawyer is turning you into someone I barely recognize, he said as I walked past. Interesting, I replied over my shoulder. I was thinking the same about you. Inside, the house was a mess. Dishes piled up in the sink, takeout boxes on the counter, clothes spread over furniture. The air smelled like old pizza and disappointment. I went straight to the bedroom and opened drawers. Half my clothes were still there. I'd only taken the essentials last time. I pulled out suitcases and began packing in an orderly way. Marcus appeared in the doorway. What are you doing? Taking my things. You wanted me out, right? Don't start games. I'm not. I'm being practical. I folded a sweater and placed it inside the suitcase. My lawyer says I need to document everything, especially financial records. Where do you keep the bank statements? You're not going through my personal documents. They're not just yours. We have joint accounts, remember? Tyler's words echoed in my head. Try to dig up dirt to use against me. I looked at Mark. I don't need to dig anything up. You gave me everything I needed when you staged that intervention. Oh, here we go again. The intervention. You'll never let that go, will you? Why would I? That was when I realized I married someone who didn't see me as an equal partner, someone who saw me as a problem that needed fixing by a group vote. You're twisting all of this. Am I? I closed one suitcase and opened another. Tell me, when did you decide to file for alimony? Before or after Tyler recommended it? His face reddened. I deserve compensation for what I've put into this marriage. You earn more than I do. Money isn't the only contribution, I said. There's emotional support, housework, managing the home. Should we list who did what? You're being petty. No, I'm being accurate. Rachel called from the office. Elena, come look at this. I left Marcus standing in the bedroom and went to the spare room. Rachel had opened a desk drawer and pulled out a folder. Look at this, she said, showing me a printed spreadsheet. I scanned it. Dates, amounts, categories. It took a moment to process. Is this a record of every dollar I've spent for the last 2 years? Coffee, groceries, gas, everything, Rachel said. He's been tracking your spending. A chill went through me. Why would he do that? My guess? Tyler told him to document everything for the divorce. But, Elena, these records go back 6 months. He's been planning this for a while. 6 months? Long before the intervention. Long before whatever crisis Marcus claimed we were having. Marcus appeared behind us. Get out of my desk. This is your desk? I held up the spreadsheet. What is this? Financial records. Tyler said I should keep track of expenses for 6 months. You've been planning a divorce for 6 months? No, I was trying to understand where our money was going. You always complain we don't save enough because I spend on gaming gear and crypto projects. And this is exactly the problem, I said. Every conversation becomes an accusation. Every conversation? I let out a short, harsh laugh. We haven't had a real conversation in a year. I looked at him. You've been building a case against me for months, collecting proof, making lists, probably venting to your friends every chance you got. The intervention wasn't a wake-up call. It was preparation. You're paranoid. Am I? I held up the spreadsheet again. This says otherwise. Rachel photographed the document. Marcus lunged for it, but she stepped aside. Destroying evidence won't help you, she said. Besides, I already sent copies to Elena's lawyer. Marcus turned to me, desperate now. You're making this worse than it has to be. We could settle this quietly, but you're turning it into a fight. You hired Tyler Ross, I said. You don't hire an attorney known for aggressive tactics if you want fairness. I hired him because I knew you'd try to take everything from. I don't want everything. I just want what I contributed, which, according to your spreadsheet, is quite a lot. I took the folder and the spreadsheet. Marcus didn't stop me. He just stood there, something fading in his expression. I didn't want it to be like this, he said quietly. Then you shouldn't have made it like this, I replied. Rachel and I packed for another hour. We photographed every room to document the condition of the house. In Marcus's desk, I found more documents, credit card statements with charges I didn't recognize, emails about investments he never mentioned, printed conversations with friends complaining about wife issues. By the time we finished, it was after midnight. The suitcases barely fit in Rachel's car. Marcus stood in the doorway, watching as we loaded everything, his figure outlined by the porch light. This is who he really is, Rachel said as we drove away. Someone who prepares months in advance. I should have seen it earlier, I said. People like him hide it well. That's the point. Back at Rachel's place, we laid everything out. The spreadsheet, the documents, the photos. I sent it all to Sarah with a detailed summary. She called at 8 a.m. This is good, she said immediately. Very good. That spreadsheet especially. How is it good? It's creepy. It proves premeditation. He was preparing for divorce while pretending everything was normal. That contradicts his claim that you suddenly abandoned the marriage. No judge will accept his version once they see this. What about the alimony request? Dead, she said. His higher income and the evidence of planned action eliminate any chance of spousal support. We may even be able to argue he wasted marital funds on cryptocurrency investments. Can we do that? We can try. How much did he lose? I thought back. Around $3,000 on crypto, maybe $2,000 on failed projects and online courses. Document the dates, amounts, and purposes. If we show a pattern of poor financial decisions, it strengthens your case. After we hung up, I sat at Rachel's kitchen table making a list of everything I could remember, every expense, every decision Marcus made with our money. The pattern wasn't flattering. Rachel read over my shoulder. He's been living like a single guy with joint funds. And I've been covering it, I said. My phone rang. Tyler Ross. I almost declined, but curiosity made me answer. Elena, he said, voice smooth. We need to talk. Speak to my lawyer. I'd rather handle this directly. Lawyer to lawyer gets expensive. You're not my lawyer. Figure of speech. Listen, Marcus is willing to be fair. You can keep your personal items and your car. He'll only take 50% of the savings. In return, you sign the house over to him and waive any claim to his retirement accounts. I almost laughed. That's your idea of fair? It's better than what you'll get in court. Judges don't like wives who leave with. I have evidence he planned this for 6 months, including a spreadsheet of my spending. How do you think that will look in court? Silence. Then, you went through his personal documents? I took copies of our joint records from our home. Everything was legal. We'll see. His offer won't last. Think it over. Tell Marcus I'll see him in court. I hung up. My hands were shaking. That was Tyler? Rachel asked. Trying to push me into a bad deal. Did it work? It made me angry. I'll take that over fear. Sarah called later with more news. Marcus filed a motion for exclusive use of the house. He claims you're harassing him by showing up unannounced. I gave him notice, and it's my house too. I know, we'll fight it. But Elena, this is going to escalate. Tyler's strategy is to make everything as difficult as possible. Delays, fees, pressure. How long could this drag on? Months, maybe longer. I can't afford months of legal bills. That's their plan. But you have something they don't. Truth and documentation. That wins in the long run. It just takes time. Time. The one thing I was running out of. My father's cancer was worsening. Work was overwhelming. I was living out of boxes in my sister's spare room. Marcus had time, money, and a lawyer paid by the hour. What do I do? I whispered. Live your life, Sarah said. Work. Be with your father. Take care of yourself. Don't let them control how you feel. That's the point. To wear you down until you accept whatever they offer. Don't let them. And if I can't afford to keep going, we'll deal with that when we get there. For now, we're in a strong position. I wanted to believe her, but as days turned into weeks, and motions piled up, and my savings drained into legal fees, trust became harder. Marcus seemed to have an endless legal budget. Every time we filed something, Tyler filed 3 things back. Motions, counter-motions, document requests, deposition demands. Sarah said it was typical divorce strategy, but it felt personal. One evening, my mother-in-law called. I almost ignored it. Elena, she said, her voice softer than I remembered. Can we talk? If this is about Marcus, it's not. Well, it is, But not how you think. Can I come by? I know you're at Rachel's. Against my better judgment, I agreed. She arrived an hour later with wine and a tired expression. Thank you for seeing me, Linda said, settling onto the couch. I'm surprised you agreed. I owe you an apology, several. She twisted her hands together. Marcus told me his version of everything. The intervention, your reaction, the separation. He made it sound like you overreacted. But then I spoke to Derek's mother. She was horrified when she heard what the boys did. Derek actually felt terrible afterward. I noted that. Derek feeling guilty was new. And then I found something, Linda continued. 6 months ago, his father and I co-signed a $20,000. He said it was for home improvements. We didn't do any improvements, I said. I know, I checked. He's been making payments, but I don't know where the money went. She looked at me with something between guilt and shame. I think I raised him to expect women to take care of everything because I always did. We never held him accountable. Linda, let me finish. She wiped her eyes. When he dated you, I thought you were great for him. Smart, steady, grounded. I didn't think about whether he'd be good for you. I just assumed any woman would be lucky to have him. She took a breath. I'm sorry. I didn't see what he was doing. I'm sorry I raised him to think he could treat you that way. And I'm sorry I believed his version without asking for yours. It was the last thing I expected. Thank you, I finally said. He's my son, so I can't abandon him. But I want you to know you're not wrong to leave. You're not overreacting, and I'll help however I can. If you need documents, I'll give them to you. The loan, I said slowly. Do you have proof? Everything. Application, approval, bank statements. That matters. Marcus's lawyer claims he has no access to funds and needs alimony. A $20,000 loan says otherwise. I'll send it tomorrow, she said. And Elena, I hope your next husband appreciates you, because my son didn't. After she left, Rachel and I sat in shock. Did that actually happen? Rachel asked. I think it did. Your mother-in-law just became your best witness. The loan documents arrived the next morning. Sarah called within an hour. This changes everything, she said. Tyler just damaged his own case. We can prove Marcus had access to substantial funds, was hiding debt from you, and misrepresented his financial situation. The alimony claim was clearly null now, and we had solid grounds to request that he cover your legal fees for filing a frivolous case. Really? I asked. Yes, really. I'm filing an amended response today. This should push things towards settlement quickly. Do you think Marcus will agree to settle? I believe once Tyler sees they've lost leverage, he'll advise Marcus to accept the best deal possible, which at this point is very favorable to you. 2 weeks later, Tyler arranged a settlement conference. Sarah and I met Marcus and him in a neutral downtown room. Marcus looked defeated, weight loss, dark circles, and the posture of someone who knows they'd lost. Tyler presented their revised offer. The house would be sold and proceeds split evenly after accounting for parental contributions. Marcus keeps his retirement account. I keep mine, and we split the joint savings. No alimony either way. Each party pays their own legal fees. What about the $20,000 loan? I asked. Marcus flinched. Tyler checked his notes. That's separate. Mr. Patterson assumes it fully. As for the wasted marital assets, crypto, loss, and failed business ventures, we could litigate that, but legal fees would outweigh any recovery. I'd advise letting it go. Sarah looked at me. I weighed the idea of prolonging the fight, chasing every dollar, making Marcus suffer as he tried to make me suffer. Then I thought of my father. the life I wanted to build, and how much time I'd wasted chasing revenge. "I'll accept the offer," I said, with one addition. Marcus drafts a letter acknowledging that the intervention was inappropriate and apologizing for it. "It doesn't need to be public. I just need it to exist." Tyler started to object, but Marcus cut in. "Fine, I'll write it." "Then we have a deal," Sarah confirmed. That afternoon, we signed the separation agreement. Beyond necessary courtesies, Marcus and I didn't speak. Once Tyler and Marcus left, I remained in the room, feeling lighter than I had in months. "How do you feel?" Sarah asked. "Free," I said. "Tired, but free." "You did well. You stood your... didn't let them bully you, and got a fair settlement. Thank you for trusting me." "Just doing my job," Tyler said. Though honestly, this one was more satisfying than usual. I rarely see Marcus lose, and he lost this case. That evening, I drove to my father's house. He was in his recliner, looking frail but alert. My mother gave us space in the kitchen. "It's done," I told him. "The divorce, we settled." "How do you feel?" he asked. "Like I can breathe again." He smiled. "Good. That's all that matters." "I'm sorry for putting you through the stress and drama," I said. "Elena, listen, you ended a bad marriage before it got worse. That's not something to apologize for. It's something to be proud of." I curled up on the couch near his chair, like I had as a child. Silence settled comfortably. I thought back on the intervention, the separation, the legal battles, the settlement. It felt surreal, as if it had happened to someone else. But it happened to me, and I survive. More than that, I emerged stronger. 3 days later, Marcus sent the letter. Short, formal, but it said what I needed. He acknowledged the intervention was a mistake, admitted his approach was wrong, and accepted full responsibility for the breakdown of our marriage. I filed it with the divorce documents. For now, I just needed to know it existed. The house sold quickly. We split the proceeds exactly as agreed. I used my share to rent a small apartment near the hospital. 1 bedroom, galley kitchen, large windows that welcomed the morning sun. I furnished it slowly, intentionally, choosing each item carefully. "Feels like a fresh start," I told Rachel as she helped me move in. "Not ours?" she asked. "Not shared, just mine." Work became easier once I let go of the weight of a failing marriage on top of the pharmacy stress. Colleagues noticed my change. I smiled more, engaged in conversations, and stopped constantly checking my phone. 4 months after the divorce, my father passed peacefully surrounded by family. At the funeral, Marcus sent flowers but did not attend. I appreciated both gestures. While going through my father's things, my mother handed me a letter he'd written for me. He had written it the previous week, wanting me to have it after he passed. I read it alone in my new apartment and cried for the first time in months. He wrote about pride, about seeing me grow into a strong, independent person. He wrote about love, relief that I had left Marcus, and hope that I would find happiness again, never settle for less than I deserved, and always remember I was enough just as I was. I keep the letter in my nightstand and reread it on hard days. 6 months post-divorce, I ran into Derek at the grocery store. He seemed uncomfortable. "Elena," he said. "Hey, Derek," I replied. I wanted to say about that night, the intervention. It was wrong. I knew it even then. But I went along because Marcus is my friend. I thought, I don't know. But it was messed up. I'm sorry. I saw genuine remorse. Thank you. That means something. Are you doing okay? Yes, I'm living downtown now. Still talk to Marcus? Sometimes. He's struggling. Lost his job last month and is living with his parents. I felt nothing. I hope things work out for him. Really? Derek asked. Yes, I don't wish him harm. I just don't wish him anything. Derek nodded slowly. Probably healthier than how he talks about you. I don't need to know. We parted awkwardly. I finished shopping, and while loading groceries, felt peaceful. Marcus struggled, and I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt, no connection. I had truly moved on. A year after the divorce, I met James, a hospital administrator I coordinated with on prescriptions. We connected during lunch breaks, shared interests, and eventually went for coffee. On our third date, he asked about my Devo. It's recent, I said. A year finalized, a year and a half since separation. Want the basics? I summarized the intervention, separation, and legal battle. He listened quietly. That must have been terrible, he said. It was, but it led to this. My apartment, independence, meeting you. I can't regret it too much. He smiled. That's a healthy perspective. Therapy helped me process the invisibility I felt in my marriage. James has been attentive, communicative, and supportive. He listens, shares responsibilities, and proudly introduces me as his girlfriend. One evening, while cooking together, I felt overwhelmed by how normal and easy life could feel. Thinking, he asked, about how different this is from my marriage, I said. How did you think it had to be? Hard, constant work, every good moment earned, accept the bad as inevitable. That sounds exhausting, he said. It was. This is better. This is how it should be. He smiled. Easy most of the time, worth the effort when it isn't. Rachel met James and approved. It's unsettling how normal he is, she said. That's my type now, aggressively normal. I still see Linda. She updates me on her life. Marcus is dating a young woman who finds his quirks charming. Give it 6 months, she says. Not my circus anymore. I found Marcus's apology letter recently. I reread it, then shredded it. I no longer needed proof that leaving was right, or validation of Marcus's failings. I knew them, and more importantly, I didn't need to prove it to anyone, even myself. Some ask if I regret the marriage. 7 years isn't a mistake. It was education. It taught me what I won't accept, what I deserve, and that love isn't enough without being loved the right way. It taught me the courage to walk away. Marcus tried to teach me a lesson that night, to correct and mold me. Instead, he taught me I am worth more than settling, worth more than gratitude for basic respect, worth more than a marriage that diminishes me. My lesson? Freedom is better than being right. Peace is better than revenge. Creating something new is better than fighting over something broken. I am happy now, not despite the divorce, but because of it. Not because Marcus suffered, but because I learned to value myself enough to leave. That is the real ending. I am happy, I am free, I am enough.